That morning, my spouse stood at the vanity, her brush gliding through her hair with its usual measured cadence. The sunlight poured through the drapes, casting a warm golden glow across our bedroom. Yet a cold weight settled in my chest. She glanced over her shoulder, her smile soft but detached, and said casually, "Sweetheart, Nick's in town already. I'm heading out for a weekend spa retreat." The name Nick rang in my ears like a warning bell. I knew exactly who he was. Not a coworker, not a friend, but the man she was deceiving me with. For months, I'd felt a growing unease. Her frequent last-minute work trips, the late-night texts she brushed off as job-related, the way she seemed to slip further away during our silent dinners. At first, I told myself it was just suspicion, that her exhaustion was the cause. But the lies had piled up, and last week I followed her. What I saw broke me. Her lips meeting Nick's outside a hotel, as if the world beyond them had vanished. Now she stood before me, pretending our life was unchanged. I looked at her, torn between fury and grief, but I buried both. Instead, I nodded and said softly, "Enjoy your retreat." She leaned in, her lips grazing my cheek in a gesture once so familiar, now empty, unaware that I knew her secret. I watched her depart, her suitcase rolling behind her as if everything was still the same. For the next hour, I sat frozen on the edge of the bed. Each moment of her absence stabbed at my heart. I opened my laptop and navigated to the photos I'd taken of her with Nick, saved in a folder named Truth. As I flipped through them, no rage flared, only a deep, heavy sadness. We had built a life together, a home woven with shared hopes. Now all I could see was betrayal. That afternoon, I contacted a lawyer. I wasn't after revenge. I sought clarity, a way to protect myself legally and emotionally. The lawyer's voice was calm, professional, but I detected a hint of sympathy as he reviewed my evidence. "You were smart to keep records," he said. "We'll start with a legal separation." That night, I slept in the guest room. Her scent still lingered in our bedroom, and I couldn't face the echoes of a love that had faded. I thought about texting her, demanding explanations, asking why she'd done this, but I held back. Let her revel in her charade for the weekend. Let her spin one last deception before the truth caught up. On Sunday evening, she returned, her complexion glowing, her smile forced. "You should come with me next time," she said cheerfully. It was so refreshing. I managed a faint smile, staying silent. I didn't bring up Nick. There was no need. I already knew the reality. She had no idea her weekend escape marked the end of her place as my partner. The next morning, I left divorce papers on the kitchen counter, next to an envelope containing the photos. I slipped out for work early, without a word. By midday, my phone vibrated with her frantic messages, begging for a chance to explain. I didn't respond. That part of our story was over. Her words carried no meaning anymore. When I came home that evening, she was gone. The kitchen counter was empty, the envelope missing. A note sat by the door. "I'm so sorry. I never meant to hurt you." But her betrayal had wounded too deeply, and an apology couldn't repair what was shattered. The weeks that followed were painfully quiet. Gradually, I began to find comfort in the silence. I started running again, reconnected with old friends, and worked to reclaim the pieces of myself I'd lost while trying to hold together something already broken. Her betrayal, I came to see, had liberated me from a false reality. Eventually, the divorce was finalized. She moved out of state, and I heard her relationship with Nick fell apart within months. A sort of quiet justice, perhaps. But I didn't dwell on their collapse. I was already moving on. One morning, standing on my balcony with a mug of coffee, I felt a gentle calm. Not joy, not victory, but peace, the kind that arrives after a storm has passed. I had weathered the heartache, the deception, the unraveling of our life. And in that moment, I knew I was finally starting to mend.